talked about this before. We're going to embark on our trip. When you were 16, you did something that nobody had ever done. What was that?
Well, I think I was 15, no, 16. I stole the church van.
You stole the church van. What caused? What did you do?
Well, when I was at 16 years old, I mean, I don't know how many young adults are out here today, but I mean, my parents, they were pretty strict on me. You know, I mean, every Saturday, I mean, I get up in the morning. I didn't get to watch cartoons or go play out with friends and stuff like that. I had to come cut the churchyard.
Amen. Amen.
And back then there was a riding lawnmower, but Dad was the only one that was able to ride on it.
Oh,
I mean,
he was the anointed one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, I had to walk around the acreage of the church with a weed eater, blower, stuff like that, and that was my day for Saturdays.
That was your day.
So I didn't look forward to weekends when I was younger. Most kids did. I mean, but I mean, as I started to get a little older, 16 years old, and I wanted to do what I wanted to do. So one night, I mean, I stole the church van. Drove very well until I was pulled over.
Okay.
But, I mean, it was a night. It was a night.
Oh, what a night. Huh?
Got pulled over, and I was hoping for the first time in my life that they'd call my dad. They didn't call my dad.
Oh, they didn't?
They called you.
Oh, I remember. Yeah, because it was a church van.
Yeah. So they ended up taking me to jail, and Missouri City. And I sat in that jail cell. It was the first time I had ever been to jail. I mean, it's lonely.
Well, you know, you talk about being your parents, being firm and strict. You know, a part of my testimony is that I got up when I was a little older. I was right at 18, 17. I was a year older than you, and I got up one morning, and not to my surprise, the house was surrounded by police to take me to jail.
Right.
And I say that to say this, that even as strict as they were, salimos como salimos, you know, we were hard-headed.
We were. I mean, I was. I mean, my mom and dad, they always wanted the best. I mean, they raised all the kids in church. This church. I mean, I think I've been coming here since I was 8. Scared of you. I mean, met her when I was, 15? Wanted to talk to her then, but was scared of you. And she was a little mean when we were 16. So
she was.
I just left her alone. I always had a secret crush on her, but I never got up the urge to ask her if she wanted to be my girlfriend or something back in the day. That's what we did. It's like I told you, I came to church every weekend, but I lived in the shadows of the church.
Okay.
So,
Now, you, much like sin does, it grows. It doesn't just. It's not just one thing. It continues to cascade. It continues to grow. In medical terms, it's called it metastasizes.
Right.
It grows. Now, what happened there should have been like a correction in direction, but it didn't happen.
Didn't happen. That happened when I was 16. You came to visit me in jail. You had the power to pull me out. You did. Detective came and talked to me and brought you back there, and I'll never forget the day. I mean, that day, you knew I needed to learn something from it, you know. So, I mean, the detective, right in front of me. He said, he just said, Albert, do you want me to let him go? And you said no. And I said, all them years I cut your yard for you? And you can't let me make it this one time, you know? And I stayed there over the weekend. I think I washed about 10 cop cars that weekend. And then I had some friends come and bail me out. So I really didn't learn what you wanted me to learn. I had somebody else get me out of it, you know. So I got out, and that's whenever my life started.
Sometimes we believe that by helping somebody in that situation, we are helping them, but oftentimes we become facilitators.
Right.
We facilitate that kind of life because someone will always bail me out.
Right.
There'll always be somebody. Now, so what's the next level of
Well,
life?
I ended up getting married when I was 17.
17.
My first marriage. Mom and Dad did not want me to get married, but I felt that I knew it all. And I got married, and it was not a good marriage. I felt like in the 3 years I was married, I went through so much in my life that people don't go through in 20 years of marriage, you know. But I made it through. God helped me through a lot of things. At the end of that marriage, I had a run-in with the law again. For the first time I didn't feel I was doing anything wrong, but in the eyes of the law, I did. Was trying to get out of the marriage, and I went to go pick up my kids. And when I got married, the lady I married, she was 3 months pregnant. So my mom and dad, they tell me you take whatever comes with whoever you marry. You accept everything. So accepted that, and ended up having another child with her. And we were going through some hard times, some very hard times. Not all on her, it was me too. But I went to go pick up my kid, and we were living in an apartment at that time, and I picked up my stepson, walked down the stairs, put him in the car. But she would always, my ex-wife, she would always hold my son to hurt me. Walked back up, and she wouldn't let me have him. So we started arguing and fighting and stuff. Well, with all the commotion, cops came. Cops came and put me in cuffs, and because, as I told you, I took my son downstairs, my stepson, and they got me for endangering my kid. Whew. So, went to jail again. You didn't come visit me this time. But, I felt like he was going to make me get through this by myself. No help from anybody, by myself. I think I was in jail for about 2 months fighting the case. Didn't have the money to get out, and I was not going to call Mom and Dad. I wasn't going to call anybody.
Did they know that you were, or they were?
At the tail end, they did.
Okay.
I mean, um, but I mean, mom didn't drive at the time. Dad was working all the time. So, I mean, I wanted to do it by myself. I didn't want anybody's help. And I wasn't going to turn to God. I mean, it's like it's like I told you. I mean, in prison or in jails, they say God must live in jail because that seems where everybody seems to find him. So I ended up taking probation. I mean, court-appointed lawyer didn't really represent me. They just wanted to get my case through, So ended up taking jail. Probation, 5 years, and got out. It was nice. First thing I did was go out to the club. And that was my answer. I mean, spending time with friends that didn't take time to come see me when I was by myself. So I was out for about 6 months. Never went to my probation officer. I was just out doing my own thing, thinking that there's no repercussions for the decisions
It's all
I
behind
made. Yeah, living in those shadows again. One night I was out at the club. I mean, I used to carry a pistol everywhere I went, everywhere. Never got into drugs, but I was very deep into pistols, guns. We were at the club with some friends, and my ex-wife shows up at the club, and all my friends knew the kind of person I was. I was very hot-headed. I didn't like authority whatsoever. And they said, let's go. You're going to get yourself into trouble. I mean, we have a long night ahead of us. So I decided to leave. We walked out, and the gentleman that was with my ex-wife at the time walked out, and they were trying to cause problems. She knew I was wanted. So I'm walking to my car, getting into my car, and my friends are on the other side, and this guy, he pushes me into my car, and I hit the top of my head real hard. Well, I had a pistol underneath the seat. So I pulled my pistol out, and I put it in his face. My friends ran around trying to get me to calm down, and I didn't care. I shot the pistol to the ground, getting everybody away from me. So I put the pistol in the guy's face. You can only imagine. So I wasn't going to kill him, but I wanted to. But I popped the clip, and I beat him almost to death with the pistol. Cops came. I got him in a car. Cops came and left the guy on the ground. But the cops came right before I could get out of the parking lot. So, put me in cuffs. And went back to jail. They had witnesses, of course. I wasn't going to get out of this one. So, friends, or so-called friends, got me out of jail on bond. So I didn't pay for my wrongdoings then. Figured out a way out of it. Most kids at that age, that's what we do. We didn't know consequences back then. I didn't, So went to court. I had money back then. I was selling a lot of weed. Drugs were never really a part of my life. I mean, that's one thing my mom and dad did instill in me. So, but they never told me not to sell it. So, I mean, that's what I did. Figured out a way. I mean, I always tried to obey them in what they told me not to do, but I always figured out a way to do what they wouldn't approve of, So I ended up getting off the gun charge. I mean, but that probation came back to haunt me. So they sent me to TDC, of course. But anybody that's been to prison, I mean, you don't learn nothing in 10 months of prison. I mean, and so I went and I did my time. Mom came and visited me. It's kind of weird because the prison that I went to, I live like 3 miles away from it now. Thank you. And I see it every day. Thank you. So I do my time. Mom, she comes and visits me once a month, sends me money. I mean, I had it easy. I had it easy, So I get out, and 9 months, Mom wants me to come stay with them. I said, no. I run to the valley. I go to the valley, and I live there. Start working for a furniture company there. I meet somebody, and I lived there for about 4 years. And furniture company, they saw a lot of potential in me. So after about 2 years, they made me they offered me a position in Corpus Christi, a general manager for 3 stores. And I said, great. So I moved to Corpus Christi. And Dad and Mom, I think Dad came and worked for me in Corpus Christi. Lived with me for a while. But I wanted to do things my way. So I ended up back in trouble with the law again. This time it was not something that was simple. The guy that I worked for, he didn't want to pay me commissions that he had promised me, so I took it upon myself to pay myself the commissions. And so I ended up selling hotel furniture, that had the value like $5,000 to a customer, and he paid me cash, and I pocketed the cash. But also, at the same time, I was getting real involved in guns, selling them to little gangs in the area. Mom and Dad, you never knew this. So, and I ended up getting busted for it, Took probation again. Didn't fulfill the probation. But I went on the run for a while.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, what was life like living in the shadows?
Yeah. I had a lot of people fooled, including my mom and dad, my spouse that I was with at the time. It was, I didn't have a driver's license. I couldn't fly nowhere. I couldn't drive a car nowhere. I couldn't buy a car. I got to a point to where I was living off of others, you know. I was hiding behind them, you know. It got to a point to where I couldn't do it anymore. Everybody was starting to figure me out. So what do? I run back to mom and dad. People that will always accept you no matter what, you know. So I was on the run from Nueces County for about 5 years. 5 years. Living with mom and dad, living with my cousins. Couldn't get nothing in my name. Mom and dad, they never knew this. So, I mean, I ran all the way to Goodland, Kansas. That's where my mom and dad were. And started helping my dad with his trucking company. Yeah, he wanted to teach me to drive. I didn't want to drive. Because in the trucking business, you get pulled over a lot from DOT for violations. And so I said, I'm not going to get in a truck. So finally, got enough nerve and came back to Texas working with my dad. And a guy that I really respected, he had a big trucking company. And he said, I'm going to put you in one of my trucks and I'm going to pay you good. The kind of money he offered me was crazy money. So I didn't care. I took the job. So I come all the way to Waco, and we're doing harvesting in Waco. And I was the very first truck to get loaded. And the location where we were going was 95 miles away. And I'm driving this truck. I get 94 miles. I drive 94 miles. DOT pulls me over. And I'm going to lie to this guy till I'm blue in the face. So I get out of the truck, and he says, you're the first truck loaded. And I say, yes, sir. And he says, well, pull over. We're going to weigh you. And then I said, okay. He weighed me. I was way overweight. And then DOT tells all the trucks that I'm waiting here for him. I'm going to pull every truck over. Well, he pulled over every truck, but he kept me there, and I knew I was wanted. He had a copy of my expired driver's license, and every truck he pulled over, they all got the tickets. I was the last guy, and I thought I was going to get away. And then he said, okay, I got everybody. I just got to get you. Let me write you your ticket. So he put me in the front seat, not the back seat, and started writing the ticket. And he ran my driver's license, and he said, Mr. Ochoa, are you wanted? I said, no, not me. So he was a godsend, you know. He let me go. I say he was a godsend, but he let me go. And then came back to Houston. Living in the shadows again. Met a new girl. And we bought a house. I was working for my old boss, Philip. You know him. And I was living a great life. I thought I had it all figured out. Had a house, had money in the bank, had a car that was in her name, didn't have a driver's license. But she had an interview with my sister. And we were running late. We were coming from Katy. And I get on the I-10. This is a part you don't know about. And I get pulled over because I go from one side of the freeway all the way to the other side. And, of course, I had a pistol. Get pulled over by DOT. And I told my girlfriend at the time, I said, look, I'm not going back to jail. Pulled my pistol out.
Whoa.
And
you didn't want to go back.
I'm not going back.
Oh.
I'm not going back. So this was a $5,000 pistol I had. And I put it right under my leg, and the trooper comes up. I give him my expired license. I said, look, I know I'm wanted. He says, sit in the car. Let me go run your license. I said, and so I told her, I said, look, you know where the money's at, but I'm not going back to jail. So the guy starts walking up, and I get out of the car, and I pull my pistol on him right there on I-10 in Mason. And he says, you don't want to do this. I said, you don't know what I want. I said, get down on the ground. So he gets down on the ground, and I put the gun to the back of his head, and I was going to kill him. That was the only way I was going to get out of there. And something came to me.
Mama's prayers.
Yeah. So I ended up telling the trooper, look, I have a change of heart. I remember the words, I have a change of heart. I'm going to get down on the ground, I'm going to lay down, and I'm going to throw the pistol underneath my truck. And then he looks up at me like, what came over you? And he told me when he was on the ground, I got kids, don't do this, you're going to ruin your life. Yada, yada. So I got down on the ground. He put me in cuffs, very roughly. Put me in the back of the car. And another trooper came. He was talking to my wife, and he got into his vehicle. And he put his head back, and his head hit the back of the plexiglass, and he had my pistol in his lap. And I'm just apologizing to him. I told him I didn't know what came over me, but I apologized, And he looked down, and he said, look, I didn't call in that you had the pistol. I didn't call in that you pulled the gun on me. But this pistol never existed. I said, what pistol? So he put the pistol underneath his seat. He still took me to jail, but I never got charged with pulling the pistol on. So Katy, all the way to Harris County, it's a long ride. So he was telling me, he asked me, he says, what's going on in your life? To do what I did for the charge that I had. Told myself I wasn't going to cry. But I just told him, I said, I don't know. He says, well, you need to go do your time and get your life right. So he dropped me off, took me out of his car. And I don't know if y'all know this, but law enforcement and people that are in trouble, They're taught not to show weakness, not to have compassion. So, he took me out of the car and gave me a hug. So, end up going to Stanton County a while. They transported me back to Nueces County. But, I mean, I ended up getting a bond before I went to Nueces County. And I called up a buddy and I said, I need you to get me out before I go. And he says, okay, I'll go get you out. So he's on his way to get me out and got me a bondsman. But they put a hold on me right when the bondsman got there. And it was like God telling me, no, there's no way out. No more shadows. It's time. So I went to Nueces County. By then, like I told you, I was doing everything right for about 3 or 4 years. And I got the owner of the company I worked for, he wrote a letter for me. My mom and dad went and spoke on my behalf. I forget, somebody else spoke on my behalf when I went to court. Ended up paying a lawyer a lot of money. And he was telling me, I'm going to get you off. You're going to just get probation again. I'm sitting in Nueces County, and I was sitting there for about 3 months. And I see all these people. Because I felt like I changed my life. I wasn't living the life that I was before. But it was time to pay for my wrongdoings. And I see all these guys. I mean.
Did you ever want to turn to God at that time?
No.
Still being hard.
I had an old saying, I'm not going to turn to God just because I'm in trouble. You know, a lot of people do it. Everybody that I knew at the time did it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to let my dad and my mom be right.
Oh.
So, did my time. Well, no. Went to court, and my lawyer says, I'm going to get you off. You're walking out today, probation. I said, okay, great. So I go into the front of the judge and kind of find out he's probably the strictest judge in Nueces County. And I go in front of him. He reads the letter from my old boss. My mom and dad's testimony, or not testimony, they spoke on my behalf, or my mom did. And he just sat there for about 3 minutes. And then he said, Mr. Ochoa, you've been on the run for 4 years. If you think you're going home, you're not. You're going to prison. And he told me, and we're not doing 10 months, 9 months. You're going to get the max for whatever your charge calls for. And when he told me that, I wanted to cuss him out right then and there. He already gave me my sentence, so what else trouble could I get into? And I took it, took the time, turned back to my dad, and my dad, he told me, go do your time and come home. There's no way out of it this time. So, told my mom and dad bye. And they took me back to the holding tanks. Sitting there by myself, Now, one thing my mom and dad always taught me is to be strong-headed, strong-minded, you know. I never thought about killing myself, hurting anybody. I just told myself, look, go do my time. But I had to do it by myself. And I told God, I don't need you. I'll make my way. So, sat in Oasis County for about another month, and they transferred me to my unit. And I mean, wow. Was I scared? Sure. But I was strong-minded. I could do this. And first year, year and a half was easy. The rest of my time, I felt like I was on my own. Whoever I was dating at the time went their own way. But I understood. I mean, everybody's life can't stop just because mine's on hold. And me and my wife were talking on the way here, and I said, babe, how can I say what I need to say without being Christian-like, you know? So she says, say whatever's in your heart. So, like I told you on the phone, I was doing my time every Wednesday. They had church. I didn't go to church. I was there for a year and a half. Didn't go to church. But like I told you, my first year and a half was easy. I mean, I had visits. I had money coming in. Became a licensed barber when I was in there. So got my GED while I was in there. But I don't know, it's like it was too easy. But then God cut off all of the outside from me. My mom couldn't come see me as much as she wanted to because my sisters were working. So I decided to turn to another love out there. And got involved with a group called Houston. When I do something, I do it to the fullest. And so got involved with them.
It's like a prison gang.
Yes, prison gang. Kind of liked it. I mean, I was in my unit, I was in charge of my side of the unit. So that's whenever I started going to church. Because every Wednesday, all the leads of the gangs would meet in church. So I had to go to church. And I don't know, one Wednesday, there was a guy, and a guy that came to church. And I wasn't really listening to the guys. I started listening out of my other ear. Yeah. But I pulled away, you know. I don't need God. I got everything I need. So, I mean, it was all taken up with Houston, enforcing rules and hurting this guy, hurting that guy, them hurting us. I mean, it was just a whole bunch of politics, that's what it is. Prison politics, that's what it is. So, I mean, it's like I always had an answer not to go to God. Or I've found an answer. And, I don't know, just prison taught me a lot. Taught me a lot. It wasn't for me, you know. hurting people. Hurting people that were weaker than you, loving it, taking advantage of it. It's the worst thing in the world. But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Something came over me the last 60 days. I was in. Got my release date. Started writing my mom. I became a short timer. That's what they say in prison. And I don't know. Can't answer it till today. Just being involved in that gang. One of the rules is when you get out, you get out. It doesn't follow you out. You go and live your life. Back when I was in. Now it's totally different, you know. So, I mean, I got out. And my mom and dad picked me up. My dad told me, "What do you want to do?" I said, "I want to eat Whataburger."
What a Whataburger.
Yeah, I want a Whataburger. I get out, and on the way back to Houston, I get a phone call from my dad. My dad gets a call.
Now, where was the prison at that you were at?
I was in the Valley. I was at the Lopez unit.
Okay.
Started in Huntsville, and then they sent me to the Lopez unit. And I was driving home, and my dad's phone rings, and it's my old boss. And he get on the phone with him, and he says, "I'll see you at work tomorrow."
You had a job already.
And then I said, "Excuse me?" And he says, "Well, if you want to work, be at work tomorrow. If you don't want to work, I understand." So I wanted to work. So I went to work with my dad that day, and my dad took off in the truck because he was a driver. And when you get out of prison, you still have this mentality that you're in prison still. You use these words respect a lot. And in prison, respect, what they feel is respect is not respect. It's intimidation. That's what it is, you know. So I go to work, and I'm still in that mentality, you know. And I run into my old girlfriend. She's working for my boss. But she's dating somebody I knew from work, driving my truck that I paid for, you know. So all these memories are starting to come back. I feel like I'm in prison. Oh, this guy's not going to disrespect me like that, you know. So I grab a knife from the kitchen.
Whoa.
And just going to walk up to him and stab him a few times and get my respect back. Well, my old boss, he did 15 years. So he knew what it was like.
He understood.
Yeah. So he stops me. And he tells me, he goes, "Is it worth it? Is it worth it?" I said, "Yeah." He's disrespecting me, you know. He says, "Is it worth it? You gonna throw your whole life away?" That's God putting somebody in my path again, trying to tell me he's there. All I need to do is reach out. No. I won't hurt the guy. But I don't need you. So,
God's just using all these people to try to reach you, from a police officer to hugging you, your old boss calling you, giving you another opportunity.
and it was weird because my old boss, he's Jewish. He probably has the most potty mouth in the world, But that's who God's using. So, next day, my boss, that guy's no longer working for him. My ex is no longer working for him. And he calls me in the office and he says, this is how much I respect you. This is how much faith I have in you. So he let him go. And I just started getting my life together. Spiritually, no. But the way this world says that you should get your life together, that's what I was doing. So I started putting money in the bank. I was doing everything right this time. I mean, I was making my boss a lot of money, making myself a lot of money. I was living, as the world says, I was in a good spot, I was helping my mom and dad as much as I could. And ended up getting married again. Not to the woman of my dreams, but got married again. And got married for the wrong reasons. Got married because I didn't want to live with mom and dad and live under their rules, Some authority. I had authority for so many years telling me what to do. I wasn't going to live that way anymore. And I remember coming to ask you to marry us, and you said no.
I'm batting 1,000.
And, but you said no because you knew where I was in my life. You knew I shouldn't have been getting married. Shoot, my own sister at my wedding, she told me, are you sure you want to do this? Nobody had the guts to tell me that at the time. But she's probably the only one that could have told me that and got away with it. So, ended up getting married. It was that was worse than prison. Ended up getting divorced after 5 years.
How old are you at this time?
37.
37. And already lived.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that have testimonies that it's either drugs, it's either the penitentiary, it's either gangs, it's domestic violence, it's just all those things. That's their testimony, And I feel like mine was all of the above. God made me live, or had me live. He didn't make me. He let me live that life, because he knew sooner or later I was going to figure it out, And I was living by myself, and all of a sudden I'm at home one night, and Yeah. And I get a text or a Facebook message, and all it says is, hey. And then I look at the name, and it's her. And, wow. So, here I am just texting her, I think we text till 3 o'clock in the morning. And I try to meet up with her. She wouldn't meet up with me. Till finally one day she said yes. And we met at a restaurant. And I walked into the restaurant. I'm looking for her, and it's like an angel appeared to me. She walked around the corner. So I walked up to her, and I shook her hand, and we went and they sat us in a secluded area, and we talked and talked and talked for 5 hours straight. Our phones were on the table, and they were ringing and ringing and ringing. Neither one of us looked at our phones. But that day, we shared with each other the most gruesome things that had happened in our lives. That I hadn't told anybody for 37 years. That I was embarrassed living in those shadows. Wow. I mean, I couldn't even share those things with my mom. Things that I've spoke about today, there's things that have happened in my life that I didn't even speak of today. And we shared them. And no judgment came from her. And no judgment came from me to her either. So, we ended up saying our goodbyes. And she didn't talk to me for about another 3 months. I don't know if it was because I felt like, well, maybe she didn't. Maybe the things I told her were too much. You know, those secrets that I've had. And 3 months later, she decided to go out on a date with me. And that's when we started our relationship. But to go back, I remember writing my mom a letter. Well, I didn't remember. A week ago, I'm visiting Mom and Dad. And she goes, my mom says, "Mijo, what do you want me to do with your letters?" I said, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? She said, your letters. So I'm thinking it's mail that I received whenever I was living with her. I said, just throw it away. She goes, no, I'm not going to throw that away. I said, what are you talking about? So she brings out this binder. And it's every letter that I wrote her in date fashion, you know. I said, what are you doing with these? She said, well, they're my letters. For the time that you weren't with me, you know, these are my letters. So I said, well, Mom, just keep them. they didn't mean to me what they meant to her, you know. But I started going through the letters to, you know, see what I was thinking when I was behind those walls, you know. And I just skimming through the letters, and I come up on this one letter. I told my mom, I said, I don't understand why God keeps taking away the women that are special to me in my life. When is he going to send me the woman for me?
So you were losing relationships and you were wondering why.
Yeah. So, but I was reading that the other day, and now I knew.
Now you know.
So, we start our relationship, and Raquel, she had a very good, she knew what she believed, you know. We go to lunch, dinner, she prays for her meal, which my mom and dad taught us that, you know.
You just didn't practice it.
Nah, I said, and we were very open with each other at the time. We didn't hold back. I said, what are you doing? I said, we're getting ready to have a drink and you're praying? She says, you do you, I do me. You know? And then just the little bitty things that God started to open my eyes, you know. So I call her in the morning, and she has the radio blasted, you know. Christian music. Didn't say nothing to her. You do you, I do me, you know. Driving home, I call her. She's listening to a message, a preacher. You do you, I do me. But she started to show me. I'm not going to say what being a Christian's about, okay? Because I was nowhere close to that form, you know. But she started to show me what you tried to teach me all those years, you know. So, at night, you hear her praying while I'm driving. She was doing it on the way here, you know. And it's like she had such a relationship with God, you know. And I wanted that. But I wanted it on my terms. Nobody else's. And I don't know, just, you asked me the other day, what was the question you said?
Turning point.
Yeah. My wife. Last week, what's the gentleman's name over there?
John.
The one that was preaching.
Yeah, John.
In 50 years, I'm 50 years old, so in 40 some odd years of coming to church, I've tried other churches. I'm always on my phone, you know. No kind of, they can't catch my attention, you know. When I come here, you're on the pulpit, I'm focused, you know what I mean? There's no other preacher that has been able to catch my attention the way you have in all my life, you know. I listen whenever you're on the pulpit. I've tried other churches. It's never And I used to use that as an excuse to my wife. Well, let's go. You want to go to church? I said, for what? I don't receive anything. I mean, you do, but I've been hearing what you talk about in the last 6 months, you know.
Well, I send him the message.
Yes.
I send him the message every Sunday.
Yeah. And he's gonna get me one way or another, whether it's in this church or through my phone, through whatever way. He's gonna get his message across to me. He's been doing it for 40 some odd years. But you had been talking to me about rebuilding the church, you know. And I'm sitting over there last week, and I didn't even know you had a guest speaker.
No, wait.
Yes.
John.
And he is the first gentleman that, when he spoke, I listened. His T-shirt, you know. They're rooted, your roots, you know. So that's what you need, people like that. That's for me. So you don't know this, but all week, get in my truck, turn on Christian music, you know. Trying to build my roots. I'm not going to say I'm perfect. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say that I don't do things that I shouldn't do as far as biblical, you know. But I'm trying my best, you know. I feel that it's time.
Praise the Lord.
It's time.